Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 239 of my modded Factorio playthrough. In this episode, we are going to build and test our Tier 3 mixture setup. Enjoy! Well, first things first here is to grab a whole bunch of landfill. So we need to claim some space. It's going to be about this wide, no point in smashing things in there, so we can bring it out a little bit. Let's do it to the end of that landmass on the tip. It should be right around here. Looks like the fish have finally been patched out, so they're not blocking landfill anymore, which is nice. So this is looking pretty good so far, but we're going to want more space than this for the power, which is actually quite big. So maybe we'll take it out to like right there. I do see the biters out there, so I don't want to get too close to them. Okay then. Do the bots reach out this far? Not really. Let's help them a little bit. And we're going to want to give them a ton of places to park, although this build is not nearly as big as some of the stuff that we've done before. So they probably don't need an obscene amount of parking spots. But we want to try to help them. Okay. And then here we go. I think we've got some random power poles and whatnot stuck in there. But whatever. Let's extend the bus markers. Then when we place this, we can line it up perfectly with these machines here. Which should be something like this. And a little bit of space in here. And let's go with that. While the bots are busy building, probably should take this opportunity to extend the bus line a little bit, because it would come to right about here. That's a decent enough place to take it. And then we have a whole lot of concrete to lay. While we still can, and it's easy. Because there's no machines here. The factory's concrete must grow. And we need to extend these bus lines. I'm not sure if I want to switch this over to a bus that's 10 units wide, just because that basically involves redoing this whole thing, and we might not have to do that if we keep it at 6. There is that big coal mine there, but I don't think we really need it right now, so that's fine to partially cover it up. Okay, while all of that's getting placed, we can remove this whole thing. And copy the other one. It would go over here somewhere. Not super close, not super far, but near the water. Like right there. Let's get all these power poles in here. Worry about the robots in a second. Let's see, let's place them. Can't really put them next to that. We can put them up here though. Okay, this looks like it worked out pretty well. As far as the position of these belts, because it looks like they line up pretty well. Let's extend them down, because we got to get them lined up. These ones need water, and it's 1 offshore pump per 2. We do need lights and all these things now. Looks like it's already starting to go. Okay, we did want to try to pipe in the saline water, which is conveniently right here. But we should probably wait to see how the other pipes line up first. Okay. Looks like prospectors are done. But I'll wait to start mining ore until we're running out. But actually, we kind of are now. So we're basically at that point already. It's kind of annoying not having any belts, though. So I kind of want to wait for the belts to come in first. We need to find the lubricant pipe. And I do see a lubricant pipe there. And it hops up that direction. Right there. So, if we continue it, it should be where we need to go. These power poles are kind of not necessary. A little bit, but... Okay, this thing is directly on top of where the fuel gets sent, so I kind of want to move it down 2 squares. Hopefully nothing is down here. Just so it's a little easier, because that's a long way to have to keep going under that every time. Okay. And then I guess right here we can hop it back up. It's fairly close to the water there, but I think this will work. And out of pipes, but more pipes are on the way. I feel like we're constantly running out of pipes, so let's ask for some more. Okay, lubricant is hooked up. It's being sent. We need the sulfuric acid. Okay, as colors, it's sapphirite, givelite, rubite. So the first two are easy, sapphirite and givelite. And that one is rubite. And then this is the other three. Oh, the radar doesn't quite reach the end here. Let's put it on the edge here and make the biters mad. We do need to start making a bunch of milling drums. It might be nice to do that on the bus so we don't have to keep handcrafting them all the time. But then again, that would require the bus get access to lubricant, which I don't think it has currently. No, it does. So I guess there's no excuse then. So we want to make some milling drums. Just requires a steel and a lubricant. We do have some steel right here, so it might be kind of easy just to stick it on the end. How much would a steel chopper produce? Especially if it had all productivities. 6.4, and that's way more than we need. So this can just be the efficiencies. And that would be our milling drums. We do kind of need quite a few of them when we do need them, so let's make like 200. So we just gotta take this pipe and keep going. There we go. How many of these do we need? If we're doing 50 in each one, that'll be 400. There's our 400. So let's go back. So we need to put about 50 in each one of these. Though it looks like I miscounted because those icons are kind of close together, so we need twice as many. Let's get the sulfuric acid up here. Okay. We do need to handle that sulfuric wastewater. We do need to make sure there's enough room for all the belts. So the 3 colors of chunks are going to come down here. And then the output for the bypass of these 2 colors will go up there, and then we've got 2 more from down here. So it's kind of funny, as usual, things are getting more compacted than I was expecting them to be. But this is the general position of the other water treatment plant, so let's just try to put it in line, and it looks like we can fit it in here. We don't need the purified water, so it can be sent this way, but let's do a one-way valve here. Non-return valve, kind of a rare situation where we have low throughput, so it doesn't really need a pump or anything attached to it. And how about we do a small petrochem tank? Although a pump would help to pressurize the system, so I guess I'll use it after all. Then we'll have the petrochem tank in here. And if the tank gets too full, so like 18,000, it can just eject it and it would be clarified, so we can just kind of plop a clarifier in there. Let's make sure it would fit. It would if it got speed modules, which is kind of annoying. So let's just pick this one up and put a ghost for that guy. So speed and energy. Also creates mineralized water, which we will be able to use just along here. And then that output. Let's see if we can make it fit right here. Oh wow, it goes over all of that. Excellent. So that's the wastewater. Sulfuric acid is in there. The outputs are hooked up. We still need to have the very long pipe for the thermal water. And we do need some water for this power setup. Looks like it's just 1 pump's worth. So we move it along. It's kind of slightly too high, but I think the bus is going to end here for now, so it should be fine. So that is filled up. We want to hook up the hydrogen and chlorine to the best of our abilities to the rest of the base. They're probably pretty far away. Same with the thermal water. Well, hydrogen is right here. Let's see, the hydrochloric acid ends right here. That's kind of odd. Also, the water doesn't connect here either. Isn't Pipe Visualizer amazing? So why was hydrochloric acid sent so far out here? Oh, it was for the mines. And speaking of that, since we're here, we should probably get it taken care of. So we'll remove this. Scan the new patch. Crotinium seam, 23 million. That'll probably last a little while. Then we gotta do our best with mashing as many of these in here as we can get away with. I feel like we can get a lot more in here if we just did something a little different with that belt. And maybe these pipes, but also we can kind of just leave them. Let's see, what can we do here? Sorry, bots. Getting this all taken care of here. Something like this, I think. And then is there room for a substation in here? Pretty much, but we also need to get all of the fluids in there. And it's these ones in the middle. And it doesn't quite line up, but it could. If we did something like this. And because this is a small mine, we should probably use speed modules on all of this. There's just not quite enough space in here for this guy. So I think we have to remove it. But we can probably put one over there. And let's see, these are connected by fluids, so very carefully mash this in here so it's all connected. So this can go around there. And I think we finally done it. We've got it all worked out, and the mining speed is just gonna be not great. I mean, it's doing pretty good considering the mine size. And it's 625 for the mining time because it's a seam. So that's kind of why you don't want to scan things unless you're out of resources and really need them. But that should do okay, I think. And everything else looks connected. So we needed to continue this hydrogen along. And it's either do a zigzag or put landfill down. So I think it's going to be landfill. Okay, hydrogen. But that's not the limiting factor, it's chlorine. Which we also want to dump if it gets too high. But are we even busing chlorine on this part of the base? I'm kind of thinking we don't. Yeah, like, at all. Let's see. And in this part, it's not even being sent. It's actually being made into hydrogen chloride gas. And that is being sent along, at least to an extent. It's not used in huge quantities, but it is being sent down here. And I guess that's not that far away. What does that hydrogen chloride gas go into? Well, it does go into some stuff. Yeah, we could probably send it up there with some more landfill. But in this case, we'll probably want to turn it into hydrogen chloride. So we're sending the hydrogen down there because it gets used in other things. And potentially burned, but let's say we weren't doing the power burning anymore. So if we link it, that's 900 and 900. So the limiting factor would be the chlorine, and we'd only have 600 of that. And strangely enough, it's already set to 600, but it's not linked that way. But there we go. So that should still create a little bit of extra hydrogen, but this at least will attempt to make use of the chlorine. So we need 3 plants, and they can go anywhere, so I guess just in here. Probably need to space them out. We'll let this run at 100% and fill up the best it can. And we'll need to limit the other one until like 80% or something like that. So the hydrogen chloride is up here, and we do have some space on the side of the rail for a nice long pipe. So we can do something like this and probably disconnect it for now so it's not filling it up. And then some landfill. Bridges are no longer needed for this section, but there's no real need to remove the bridge section and just replace it with a non-bridge section, because they cost pretty much similar resources to do the rails. So I'll just leave the legacy bridge sections there. Does look kind of weird sometimes when it switches from bridge to not bridge, but whatever. Then this needs to connect. We do have a little space in here that we can squeeze through. It's just barely going to fit, but it will. So there we go. That's all connected. Let's go to the other setup and get it configured. So it looks like it already has a hydrogen chloride storage tank, but it's just being used as a buffer. So we'll put another pump in here, hook it up, and say hydrogen chloride has to be less than, I think it would be 40,000, right? Yeah. So it'll only top up the system. That'll leave a little bit of space for the other setup to run. And for it to work correctly, we don't want to have a pressure pump in here. It's going a long way, but hopefully it works okay. Now we can hook it up again. And it should be mostly at full, but not quite. That'll leave us some empty space for this to run. So I think we're getting pretty close to this being able to operate correctly. So we get those going, and of course they max out on hydrogen chloride real fast. And then the last bit of this is just to dump it. And if 2 flare stacks worked okay here, although did they need any speed modules in there? Probably should double check. Looks like they did. So we need to copy something like this for the chlorine. And now that we're sucking up the chlorine, all these are working. But it looks like the nears and fars didn't carry over. And we wanted to have this one be a little bit of both. Probably should have this set to anything, because if there's nothing in here, we don't want the pump to run. So if it's over 40,000, it runs. And it's running already. But I think that's good. So now we need to deliver all of this, which can be right here. And swing around. So in goes the sodium hydroxide. They're getting picked up, so that's good. Now we just need to figure out how to get the thermal water here. And it is over here. So since we have a pipe running down this side, it kind of makes sense to do another one. Well, that one's kind of being taken up. So I guess I'll just go through here. And maybe grab some thermal water from here. Just hop over that mess. And then go down. And let's get it across. It's kind of slightly misaligned, which is a little annoying, but whatever. So the thermal water's in there now. So let's check our resources, see if anything's missing. Just the ferrous sludge, which comes from here. This is just missing the chunks. And we do need to get more milling drums. So let's get the chunks in here. We probably are going to need to set up a priority system, like with the rest of this, but since we're going to be expanding on this, let's worry about doing that later, and for now, we can just hook it up directly. So we got the chunks on the end. Okay, well here's our belts for all those colors, and they do kind of matter which one we send where. So the last belt is bobmodium and crotinium. Doesn't really matter which side. So it can be something like that. And then the middle belt is rubite and jivolite. So something like that. And then the other two colors for the last one. And there we go. Let's see if all the colors get picked up properly. Seems like it. I think it's time to start hooking stuff up and see what happens. So let's unhook the different setups for now. So we can see it happening in steps. But here we go. That should be consuming a great deal of resources, and it looks like it is. The design doesn't completely max out all these belts, because I think it's like 75 per second. But if you look at the inputs, they're basically at 100%. Not quite, but pretty close. And they're both filling up there. And the first belt we have here is the bypass, in case we want to process things that way. And these are doing great. They're going to run for a while because this is going to hit 10,000, which is quite a bit. It probably doesn't need to be quite that high. Maybe like 1,000. There we go. Now let's hook this one up. Looking pretty good. It's kind of upsetting that the colors got shifted around. So I want to reverse these so it all matches. No, my inventory. Let's see, they are taking the resources away, which means there is something we need to do. We need to handle where do these resources go if they find their way into our inventory. So let's do this. To get the two colors. So if any of them are here, they will plop in. Then they go through here. But if we have any extras, we want to put them somewhere. So hopefully something like this will work. Set to the powder. And also this. So we can put some right here. This one can be the dust. Okay. Well, we got another set of belts there that looks nice and colorful. So it's time to test the new stuff right here. And this got all messed up, but... oh, I see an error in my ways. We need to have these belts move off to the side and then merge. And then go up like this. Which is fine. We'll just do that. And I think something like this for the other side. Make sure that the priority is set correctly. There we go. So that should be pretty good. Not much is really happening here because it's producing quickly. But it seems like it's going pretty good. At least it's making the sludge quite quickly. And it's basically using the full belt, which is good. Let's throw that in our inventory and see if the bots take it to where they need to go. Certainly looks like it. And that's starting to run again. All of that is working. And so far, lubricant is kind of holding up. That might not be the case for long. And looks like the inserters didn't get set correctly here. Or something's just not connected. Ah, it doesn't have the bridge pipe in here. And there we go, there's the dust. Well, that worked out pretty well. And it kind of took a little while because of trying to figure out what was going on with transport drones, but ultimately, that setup ended up being fairly compact, considering it is consuming 6 belts of ore to do all of this, and creating 6 belts of ore as a result. So it's pretty good. And that's the end of this episode. On the next one, we're going to start working on the bus and prepare it for our new ores. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.